So, yeah, at this time also, as you mentioned, Brendan got approved for his lat transfer. It's called a lat transfer, and so now he knows that he's going to go to Buds and be a SEAL, or at least try and be a SEAL. But I bet he was pretty confident.
Yeah, I'm certain of that.
One of the first things Travis did here, he's got a couple more days left. He meets up with Marine Major Steve Cantrell, an assistant Navy wrestling coach, and they go to New York. Travis and Cantrell decide to spend a few days in New York City, where Cantrell had arranged a visit to New York Fire Department's Rescue1 headquarters. Located in Hell's Kitchen, Rescue1 had become a revered place over the past 5 years. The small Manhattan building, which was still fully functioning, had been the home base for 11 firefighters, almost half the unit, who were killed in the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. As they were leaving the firehouse, one firefighter and former Marine thanked Travis for coming out. "Lieutenant Manion, I want you to have these hats and shirts," said the Marine Corps veteran. "No matter how crazy things get over there, you can always put one of these on and remember what you're fighting for." And he comes home and he's got that Rescue1 hat with the Rescue1 Fire Department New York logo on the front and 9/11/01 never forget on the back. And he says to you, "Dad, I want you to have this, and please wear it while I'm gone. No matter what happens, always remember that this is what we're fighting for."
Yeah, I always remember that discussion we had, down the hallway. And it so impacted him to be there with those guys. And he actually went up there to thank them for all they had done. And he said, "Dad, they couldn't thank me enough for my tour and what I was about to do." And he was, he got real serious about it. And I always remember that was one of the last conversations I had with him. Interesting side note to that story. So my wife and I, after we lost Travis, went up to Rescue1, talked to the guys when we were up there, and they sort of remember maybe, somebody coming through, but it never really clicked for the guys we were with. But great guys, and, we ended up leaving and never felt like we had the connection that we expected because Travis had talked about it so much. And a couple years later, I'd say about 2 years ago, so what were we talking about, like 7 years later? Well, the book's out. And there's a New York City firefighter that gives his buddy the book and says, "Hey, read this book." So it mentions Rescue1. So the guy's on the treadmill. He almost falls off the treadmill. He says, that was me. He had since been transferred. So Tim Sullivan calls me up and says, "I'm the guy in the book. I want to come have a beer with you."
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. And that's also the same conversation where you told Travis, "Hey, you're an advisor. Advise, and
right.
Then let the Iraqis execute," which can be really hard. It's can be hard because they won't execute. It can be hard because you want to show them how to do it right. And oftentimes, if you don't lead from the front, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen there. No.
So now, your son-in-law Dave and Travis go to a football game. And here we go, back to the book. As they reach a flight of stairs near the Lincoln Financial Field exit, Dave, with a clear hint of humor, finally conveyed his concerns. He was concerned, he's concerned about him going overseas. And he says, "Hey, Trav, if I tripped you right now and you fell down and broke your ankle, do you think they'd let you sit this deployment out?" he asked. Travis chuckled at Dave's joke, but didn't say much in response. A brief moment of slightly awkward silence followed, while drunken Eagles fans shouted and chanted all around them. Suddenly, Travis spoke up. "You know what, though, Dave?" Travis said with an unmistakably serious look on his face. "If I don't go, they're going to send another Marine in my place who doesn't have my training. If not me, then who? You know what I mean?" He continued, "It's either me or that other guy who isn't ready. So I'm the one who has to get the job done.
So think about that, because you think back to the time with Coach Sharrett and Brian Stan, and they're in the plane, and Travis says, "I want to be known as the guy that always, stepped forward and did what was right. If not me, then who?" Is another way to say it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not. I don't share that because it's unique to Travis. I share that because it's. And this whole story is really a representation of so many men and women in uniform. It's their story, but it's a story that can be told about so many. And that if not me, then who? We use that now at the foundation to sort of drive momentum around, what we all need to be thinking about as Americans, stepping up and doing the right thing.
And I'll agree with you 100% that there's a lot of people that say things like that, but to have an example that's someone that so clearly lived that is awesome to look at.